And good afternoon. Welcome to Jersey Talk Radio. We're at the Flemington Car and Truck Country Studios down here on Main Street in Flemington. And with us today, talking about libraries in general and in more specifically in Hunterdon County, is Jen Winberry and Jim Thatch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bruce.
Thanks for having us.
See if you can remember my job title this time.
Hold on one second, and I'll give it to you. If I can remember where I put it here. That's even worse. So one of the things that we want to talk about today is generally what is going on in library technology, where the place of new libraries, but also we want to review the history of the Hunterdon County Library.
I'm going to get it down to 30 seconds.
Okay, there you go. And also what you're doing, and you do some pretty unique things up there, and you guys have been with the library a long time. So real quickly, I'm going to bring up the website. Tell us about the Hunterdon County Library.
All right, the long history is on the website, so everybody can look, but we've been in the county since the early 1900s. We were on Spring Street for a time in the Flemington Fur Building, and in 1973 we moved up to Route 12, where we currently are. In 2006, we did a 21,000 square foot expansion.
Wow.
We also have the library in Clinton that was at the Dazadel, at the Point. It was at Grey Rock for a while in Annandale Square, and now is on Halsted Street. And it's right next to the community center, so that's a really nice place to be. And we have a South County branch library that was in East Amwell for a while, and we're currently in West Amwell. And we still have our bookmobile that you remember from.
And where's that kept?
That's kept in the garage in the library.
Do you bring it out?
We do. Currently, we go to the Hampton School on Tuesday afternoons. We go.
Oh, really? So it's still being used?
Mm-hmm. We go to.
Wow.
It's pretty new, our bookmobile.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have the old Gerstenschlager?
No, that was 2 ago.
Oh,
we
man,
replaced this one about 8 years ago.
It's a snappy-looking vehicle. You've probably seen it on the county roads.
Designed by our own Jim Thatch.
Well, that's why he's saying that. I mean, why you can't blame him for that.
I have an agenda here.
It matches our library cards. It's a royal blue with yellow blue writing.
Must be awful cramped in there, though, if it matches it.
Yeah.
And another fun fact, for history reasons, the original Friends of the Library Group, their first guest speaker was Robert Frost.
Really? Well, that is pretty amazing. And what year was that?
30s.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Really? So you've been having speakers bureaus right pretty much from the beginning,
yes,
right?
Yeah. We have. We actually also have a collection of Kurt VC prints. He illustrated Freddie the Pig, and he did a lot of murals. He did the murals in the Stockton Inn.
Yes, there's one in the Kingwood Firehouse, a mural that he did. He also, what was his most famous children's book that everybody
Freddie
knows?
the Pig.
That's not his most famous one.
No, it isn't.
The one with the duck. He did a lot of a Chinese
say yin yang or
Ping or something.
Yeah, Ping.
Ping the duck. Ring a bell, Bruce?
No.
Okay, but we've got his original artwork. So we
Doesn't
have a lot
ping a bell either, actually. Now that you mention it. Yeah. Wow. So you have how many branches now? You have 3?
We have 3, and we also have a lot of affiliate libraries. We're affiliated with libraries in Reddington Township, Three Bridges, Highbridge, Holland, Tewksbury, and Bunvale, Lebanon Township, and Bunvale, and Frenchtown. And they use our services, and they use our circulation system, and they supply the building and the staff.
I see. Okay.
So, and you can also use your card at the Flemington Public Library right across the street.
Right down here on Main Street, yeah. So how many books total? Let's go back to the grassroots, if you will, of how many books total do you have in the affiliates in the main library?
Right now we have about 250,000 volumes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot.
And about
I wouldn't have thought that, but now how big is the main branch? I'm sorry.
Bruce is a numbers guy, obviously.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if that...
Well, most of the books are in our edition, so 21,000 square feet of books.
Wow.
Because most of the
Among
old
other
building,
things.
yes, yeah. But we have DVDs, we have books on CD, we have music CDs.
That's neat.
What other physical? I guess those are the most physical collections.
And
we have.
yeah, well, let's go to numbers because unfortunately
Magazines.
numbers give the snapshot. But how many people utilize the Hunterdon County Library and all their affiliates? Do you have just a rough idea a year?
Oh gosh, we're about to do the state report, so these numbers. will
Oh,
just
see,
come.
so
you have us back after that.
I'm just saving you guys having to do it here in a couple of weeks. I'm getting you all primed.
But on some days we'll have 200 people come to a concert, which
Well,
you've
yes,
seen,
I mean
'cause you've
I've
been to
been to
Travis
the, yeah,
concerts.
I've been to a lot of concerts actually, and you had me speak up there at one point.
Yes.
About investigative stuff. Let's talk about what people can avail themselves from beyond just taking out books and other media. What are the special events that you manage, and also that are very unique to the library, and it's a heck of a resource for people to get out and see a wide array of presentations and
That's
music.
very true. Like you mentioned in one of our aborted tries here, that the library is redefining itself for the new age. So where we're not just books anymore, we do a lot of other things. We kind of like to look at ourselves as a community center, where we bring people in, we bring in groups to help them out, and then we also go out into the community and help groups with services and programs and things like that. For example, Knitters Unite, Jennifer, what would that be, a current one we're working on?
This winter, we've asked knitters to come to the library. Some have donated yarn, and we've asked them to knit hats for the Haven North Veterans Home up in Lebanon Township, up where the old sanitarium was.
Right.
And we just delivered more today. We're working with the County Veterans Affairs Coordinator, Sabrina, and we've donated over 200 hats and scarves.
Wow.
It's over 300 now,
And
I
it's
think,
over 300.
that people, local citizens just knitted
Yeah.
and dropped off at the library. And this has only been going on about a month.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So there's a lot of needs out there.
Yes. And out of this, Pam McKenzie, who writes an article for the Courier News, said, hey, we should have a knitters group. And so she started a knitters group the second Monday of every month. She's going to invite knitters to the lower level of the library to come knit.
What are the criteria that you enforce in terms of groups wanting to use the because you have that pretty good meeting room space in each of the.
We try to be as accommodating as possible to get as many groups in there as possible. The space is limited, but we have other spaces in the library we can use. We try to sponsor as many programs as we can, so that we can book the space for them and have them go through the county to book the room, which is a lot,
so you
lot more
facilitate.
hurdles to jump. Yes.
Right.
I mean, nonprofit's the key.
Okay.
The key words.
So you don't rent space out for profit organizations?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. And how many events in aggregate do you do a year? I know it's a lot.
We do speakers and concerts between us and the North County Branch Library between 120 and 150. Then we
Wow.
also do things like movies and book clubs and other smaller groups like fiber artists, and we just mentioned the knitters and there used to be a photo club that used to meet there, other writers groups. We've had children's writers groups. So these are just the adult programs. That this doesn't count any of the children's programming.
Now, if the folks go to the web here, and I'm bringing it up now, you can see a listing of the events. What's Maker's Day?
Maker's Day is coming up on March 19th. We just did this for the first time last year. We bring in a lot of groups and individuals to demonstrate different things like robotics.
Oh, cool.
And then they demonstrate to the public, and they come in and everybody they teach people that come in that day how to make things. Go ahead.
Sorry. It's a statewide event, and it's based on the STEM education,
Oh, okay.
science, technology,
All right.
engineering, and mathematics.
So it was widely popular last year, and we're going bigger and better this year again. So that's March 19th.
And that's at our North County branch and our South County branch. And Flemington Public and Media Tech sponsors theirs.
Wow.
Sponsor the one for this area, so we don't.
Yeah,
we
Media
don't
Tech
compete.
is right up the street too, and they'll be doing their own Maker's Day as well.
Now, how many participants did you have last time in Maker's Day?
We had, between the two places, we had over 700 families and children come through.
Wow, so that's pretty neat.
And they each had about a dozen makers, I think.
There might have been more at the North County branch.
Okay.
South County's
And
smaller.
I'm showing the video that you have on
Okay.
your. You have
Yeah.
so people can go take a look at that and find out more about it. Now, can Can families just bring their kids, or do they have to be formally brought in?
Nope.
No,
Just
so just
drop
show
on
up.
in.
Okay. And there's a pre-registration is not necessary?
Not for this one, no.
Okay. So that's one type of educational thing, but let's talk about the concerts, you know.
Oh,
Is that something
we have
that's near?
concerts.
Yes, you have a lot of concerts, and you have a lot of great concerts. So let's just talk about that real quickly.
We do two kinds of concerts. I do try to bring in a lot of local, like students, some teachers from the school.
We'll have piano recitals
Yeah.
for local
Right.
groups on Sundays.
But then Jim brings in the big names, the big guns.
And
Yes,
who are some of the people that?
Well,
the
you know
audience-
Travis Wetzel,
Yes,
correct?
I know
Because I
Travis
know
very
you
well.
were there podcasting one of his performances, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a good friend, and I've been playing bluegrass all
And
my
he'll be
life,
back
so.
in April again. He's back every year.
That's a
But-
don't miss, and that sells out, if you will, although there's not sales involved in it.
Correct. The Hunterdon Harmonizers do a holiday show based on the show they do at the high school every year at the library. So they've been doing that for at least the past 10 years. That's always standing room only as well. And I try to just do a variety, jazz, classical. Just try to kind of mix it up. This next Wednesday we have a group called Echo del Sur, which does music of the Andes.
Oh,
So
neat.
they have a myriad of instruments that they play. They can mimic the sound of a rainforest. So
that's
it's,
cool.
it's fascinating. So it's a really good group. But then we have the summer concert series as well, which we bring in a swing band and then the Blauenberg Band, which is a big community
Big
brass
bands,
band.
Yeah, that's a traditional.
And then the highlight is the British Invasion Tribute, who actually travels around the world now. We get them every summer, and they draw a huge crowd.
Yeah, I actually know those guys. And that's now those concerts. So people understand, those concerts are down at the Deer Path Park.
No, these
No, they're not.
concerts, that's a different series.
a
Our
different
concerts,
series,
we have
okay.
an outdoor stage at the library facing Route
Oh, see,
12.
and I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
So you guys, so it's actually on the library grounds.
It
Well,
is.
that's cool. So that's another opportunity for people to get out in the
Right.
summer. And I apologize. I didn't realize that there was a distinction there.
Yeah, ours are on Wednesday nights. The
Right,
Parks
Thursday,
Department's
right?
Thursday, and it's
Right.
actually their 40th anniversary this year.
Wow.
So they're going to do a big blowout. So yeah, everybody should definitely look for
Well, I'll
those.
definitely be up there for yours because I didn't realize that you weren't working together on that. I apologize. I didn't.
Actually, a long time ago,
You
the
did, right?
concerts
Something-
were
Were,
at the
yes.
library.
That's what
They
I
set up
thought
the
originally they
stage on our side lawn, but now they planted a lot of trees there. There's no room. So we built our own stage on the other side.
The last time I was up there, you were going to do the walkways and the patio and everything.
They have been finished.
Ah,
Yes.
nice. I need to get up there.
Yeah, it was when we built it, the design was gorgeous. It was all inlaid, not quite bricks, but patio blocks. Terrible for the winter
Yeah.
and ice melt, and we've had some rough winters.
Right.
So the county repaved it, and it's all cement. And the Friends pay for the gardens
Right.
that line them, and the county worked with them.
Let's talk about technology. What innovations have you been forced or you've led the way to change the way people utilize information technology?
Well, obviously, and most obvious is the internet.
Mhm.
And we've got public internet stations at all 3 branches. We've got wireless
Oh, you do have
internet, so
Wi-Fi.
you can bring your laptop or your tablet or your phone, apparently. I'm very technologically inept.
Downloadable books we have now instead
Yes.
of the real
Really?
books. Yes.
Now, how does that work in terms of copyright? And it makes no difference. And it just is
The
same.
publishers set forth, most of them are one-use model,
Okay.
like a book.
Right.
One book, one person takes them. Some of them, we buy the license for a year. We don't actually own the content.
Right.
We're renting a license for them. Some we get to keep forever, some we keep for a year, and then we have to rebuy them after a year.
Okay, so you just renew the royalty license,
Correct.
basically, right? The use license. What kind of an outreach, if any, are you guys working with in terms of new authors? Because self-publishing,
Well,
like
you
the
just
music
asked her the
industry,
right question.
because like the music industry,
Right.
where it's all initiated at the artist level, certainly. The show we do, the national show that I co-host on Thursday nights, Glennet Ty Publishing, is one of a million new publishers so there's a lot of people writing books,
Yeah.
many of which shouldn't be, but that's another issue.
That's up to them.
That's their decision. But the plethora of books that are out there. So how do you deal with that in terms of getting exposure to authors?
Well, a few years ago, we were approached by a Master of Arts student who needed to do a symposium and teach some classes. And we said, yeah, okay, we could probably get you 10 people. We had 80 people sign up for a 6-week series. And about a dozen people have stayed together several years later, and they're still writing together.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
If you call me and say, I've published a book, I want to do a signing at the library, I pretty much will say, sure, come on in, we'll do some advertising for you.
Really?
But be prepared to sit in the lobby because you're not going to get many people.
What is the most easily recognizable author that you've had in, would you say?
We had Christina Baker Klein, the author of The Orphan Train, right after she hit the New York Times bestseller list. That was a very startling book that became very popular. And we've worked with the Tricentennial Committee and the Hunterdon Medical Center Cancer Center, and I've booked Elizabeth Gilbert twice.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, Jeannie Murphy and Colleen Kelly that come on, they have their own.
Yes, I get her emails.
Yeah. And it's fascinating. And having worked with it, many years ago, my mom wrote a book about based on their diaries, the first year teaching up in on the North Slope in Inuit villages in Alaska. And that was the days of, self-publishing. That was expensive.
It was, yes.
And not a fun process. So we're going to re-release that book. It would make a great family movie because it's true and it's based on. It's interesting. It's a culture that most people have no idea exists, and so I learned a lot about it helping her go through that after my dad died, and we encouraged her to do that just as a legacy for him. But that whole industry is turned on its ears.
Oh, it's incredible.
Publish
Amazon,
on demand, right?
Amazon does on demand. There's a machine called an espresso machine, and I know McNally Jackson, a bookstore in New York City, has one, and they'll print whatever you want for them. And
it'll just custom print it. You order it, and bingo, it starts knocking out
Correct.
the page after
and
page.
You can pay for them to put it on their shelves. And I think there's a Barnes & Noble store, a couple places that have them. I mean, these machines are prohibitively expensive.
Right.
But, some of the bookstores have them in the stores.
What would you say the percentage of people that are doing e-books today? I have a hard time reading off a screen.
I can't.
It's just weird. I guess I wasn't raised that way, and it doesn't feel comfortable. I don't absorb it in the same way I do as if I have a piece of paper and I'm reading. Is that common or is that unusual?
I find it that way, but a lot of people just read the some people, Jim has his phone here, some people read their e-books on their phone, which I can't even
perceive that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just what you're comfortable with. Well, I have a hard time reading because I went to school here in Hunterdon County. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What about other media? What about video and audio and that kind of stuff?
We have a magazine collection that's online now called Zinio, where you can stream magazines.
Really?
We can do that too.
And we can stream movies through IndieFlix.
We have a service called IndieFlix.
Now, when you say you can stream it, so I could bring my laptop and watch a movie.
You can go to if you click on digital collections.
All right, we're going to go and bring up the county website, and it's going to be hard for you to see from across the way, but so I'm going to go to digital collections. Where would that be? About Us? No,
it'll be on the right side of the.
If you go to our home, it's probably under services. If you go to our home page, it's
all right. Let's go.
It's easy to find from there.
All right, teens.
No, you see the yellow boxes.
Oh, there it is. I just passed it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the last one on there.
All right, great. There it is. Digital collections. Hey, who's that on there? Okay. Get some pictures on there.
That's a gingerbread picture. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Now, so you have books, databases. Zinio, magazines, lending, and of course, the overview of the lending policies. All right, so I can come on site, bring my laptop. Oh, you can do it from home?
You can do it from home.
Wow.
You just need a county library card.
My card is one of the old plastic cards. The last time I went in there, they kind of laughed at me.
It might still work.
They said, what are you still doing with that? And I said, well, I'm trying to check out a book.
They didn't replace it
And
for
now-
you?
Now they said, well, you really ought to get that replaced. I said, well, there's no time better than now. Well, we're closing in 5 minutes. So anyway, it was an interesting interaction. But so I can, at home, sign on.
Mhm.
And how many movies are available on that? That's really cool.
It's over 3,000. It's a lot of the Sundance films.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of documentaries.
Neat.
A lot
And,
of classic films like Hitchcock.
Yes, there's a lot of Hitchcock. We have some lists, hidden gems that kind of highlight some of the movies. There's a David Bowie movie, usually on our Facebook page once a week.
You'll highlight something. So then people aren't limited to the number of movies they can watch or anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, that's really.
You can
I mean,
just
see, so
watch
this is why this program is important, because people don't take the time to reach out and see what's
Right.
out there. They just assume, oh, it's just a bunch of shelves with books on it, like
No.
a Dewey Decimal System and the card files and all that, and it's nowhere near that. I mean, anybody who goes up there sees that it's much different.
Right, and the magazines, once you download it, it's yours forever. It's on your
Really?
device until you get rid of it. Yeah.
How many magazines do you
So be
guys?
careful what you download.
Stop.
It's like an email, lives forever in the ether.
Yes. Yeah.
How many magazines does that cover?
It's about 100 and
It's over 100, I believe.
Neat. And what about newspapers? Do you also do that with online newspapers?
under the database, we have a database tab. That's under adult services, I think.
All right, let me just bring that back up for our viewers.
So it sounds like we don't want people to come into the
Yeah,
library.
Really?
please come
But
into
that's
the
why
lib-
we do the programs and
I
things
have
too.
that.
So they
I
do come
personally
in.
have that problem with most places. You're really not welcome here, sir.
Yeah, no, we
All
do
right, so
want
we
to-
want to go to where now?
data under maybe adults
Maybe.
about us.
Oh, about us?
No, under adults next to about us. It should say databases.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay. And this is a collection of, well, you might remember the old Reader's Guide, big green
Yeah,
books. You needed
yeah.
a magazine article, you'll.
Go through and
Yeah.
try to.
And this is a collection. Some we pay for, some the state provides for us at no cost to us. Some you can look at home, some you can look at the library. To the left of each, to the right of each one.
Mm-hmm.
If it has a
American
little house,
history, right.
you just click on it and you can look at it at home.
Oh, I see. Okay, so this allows you to wow, that's pretty
Right,
neat.
and there's Newsbank, and it does include the Hunterdon County Democrat and the Star Ledger.
I see the Democrat there.
Yes. That's
Facts on file, career file,
And there's things like
Wow.
Morningstar for investment.
investment, yeah,
And Ancestry.com,
Financial Times, and so forth.
which is a very big Ancestry.com if you're looking
Oh,
up.
sure, that's huge.
Yeah, you have to come to the library to use it, but it's free and it's
And you don't have to
it's
have a
full
membership.
access, correct.
Really?
Yes. We pay
Wow.
for it. Yeah.
That's worth it right there, because I know that that's not inexpensive if you want to get the full blown access.
Oh,
No,
no.
yeah.
It's
So-
a great service.
Wow.
And,
Another
That's
new
really
thing
cool.
we've started last summer, I think it was we lend museum passes out like books. We had from some local museums. Well, not local, the Intrepid in New York, the Guggenheim,
Great museum.
Grounds of Sculpture. You can come in and borrow passes.
And that's in Trenton, outside Trenton, right?
Yes.
Hamilton.
So you can borrow like 4 passes and get in for free.
That's amazing.
yes.
This is really cool. I mean, honestly, I'm going to avail myself of some of
Yeah,
that.
and if you live outside the service area, you can buy a card for $90 a year.
So you can buy access. Well, certainly you could overcome that. One trip to the Guggenheim. and,
Exactly.
Right, exactly. You can
you know,
recoup
or the
those
Intrepid.
costs.
I don't know what the tickets to the Intrepid are.
I don't know,
now.
but that admits 6 people. So,
Jeez.
Yeah.
So it's a very good value, even
It
if you
is.
were outside the area.
correct.
That's pretty cool. I'm very impressed. And we need to help you guys continue to let people know about this, because the outreach, it's a shame that all those activities are available and all those resources. You know, I used to go up to the library, and I don't know how many people do this. Probably nobody, because I'm not normal. But I'd go in there, one night a week and just start looking through the racks and find a book I like and sit down and read it, or go through some newspapers. You don't read the Financial Times, but it's neat to peruse through it.
Right.
I'm not going to subscribe to it. At that time, you couldn't get it online. There's so many things to look through. And I find myself looking through books that I would have never done, but I was just walking up and down the row saying, oh, this looks pretty cool, and pick that up. But now there's 10 times more resources available to you. I think the movie thing is a great attraction.
Another way we try to get you into the library is we have every month we have displays and exhibits from local artists. In our gallery, we have 3 gallery areas. So we did collections, and then we have artwork. Right now, the Hunterdon Central High School Art Department, their annual show is every January at the library. So that's on display right now. And the county 300th mural
right.
is behind the circulation desk.
And I was on the committee on that.
Yes.
So
and they're having another the artists will be there again later this year.
What's the gentleman's name?
Paul Janis.
Thank you.
Yes, Paul.
Yeah, because the 300th committee is still having programs. And a lot of them are at the library.
History doesn't stop just because the year is over with.
No, and they've done some really neat programs.
Yeah, and they're continuing. I think one of the takeaway messages is that just because you were up there this week doesn't mean you've seen everything there is to see, because it changes.
Well, even the high school art show, it's changed 2 or 3 times in the month of January.
So they have so much work they keep
so if you
rotating
saw it last week, it's different this week.
Well, you're gonna see me around there more because there's some pretty neat stuff there.
Yes.
You know, it was interesting. I used to when I had long commutes, I would get books on tape or the CDs, and out of the North County branch, being I lived in Clinton, I mean, I ran through everything they had after 6 months or 8 months. It's just there's only so much. You know, it's not a never-ending supply. But clearly, there's a lot more material there than there was at that time.
And if there's something that you want that we don't have, you can either ask that we purchase it for you, or we'll get it from another library in the state, or outside of the state if we need to.
Well, that's quite a service. Let me ask you this though. I know that I've read and seen that you've had where you're getting rid of books. Is that correct? Where you sell books, or is that other schools or libraries or?
Well, we do weed.
Mm-hmm.
Dated books.
De-accession books. A lot of older editions, college guides, travel guides.
Of course.
That date.
The 51 encyclopedia probably isn't quite as valuable as it was when it came out.
And we do have an ongoing book sale. People donate books to the library. Books that we can't use in the collection or replace, we'll put them out for sale. And then, of course, our friends have their annual sale. Right,
the Friends sale. Now, where does that resource come from? Is that people that donate books? And
Correct.
then
Everybody donates, and that's their major fundraising, that they take money to help us do programs like the museum passes and things like that.
Do you ever find like very rare books or anything?
They have found some really
pretty cool stuff.
Yes, yeah. Usually the week before the sale, there'll be an article in the Democrat, and they'll list some of the really unusual things they found. I have a first American edition of Ulysses.
Wow.
Which is probably the best thing I've found.
Did you read it?
No.
She's afraid to open it up because she'll ruin it.
And it's actually kind of neat because there's newspaper articles tucked in it. There's a lot of ephemera tucked in it.
Wow.
Which probably lowers the value of the book, but
why? Because
they're glued in and everything. But to me, I like finding things in books, because it's neat. If I buy a used book, and the shipping papers are in it, then I want to know who owned this book before me.
She loves books, Bruce. From a very young
thing.
age.
Let me tell you something. That's a good thing.
Yes, I know.
It's good to love something. In most cases.
I love a lot of the wrong things. That's my problem.
Well, me too. We're on the same page here. Looking for love in all the wrong places. It was not a book, but it's a song that is appropriate. So all right, he's brought it up. I got to follow up on it. All right, so what did you do? Did you put glasses on and, stand around with a ruler beating people over the fingers when you were a young girl?
I didn't, but I would check my books out to my friends or my sisters.
Really?
I did. And at a very young age.
How cool is that you had some focus early on?
My mother was the president of a small library board in our town.
And where was that?
In Shrewsbury in Monmouth County. She was one of the founders of their friends group. The library has since closed. But we used to bring books to the nursing home.
That's
young
neat.
children. And that's part of my job, is to make sure we get books to nursing homes here. So
do you have any reading hours for young people or any of that kind of
stuff?
We
do have story time. The schedules are, again, on our website. We have them at all 3 locations.
We also have a Pause to Read program where we bring in therapy dogs, and the children.
See, that's neat.
The children come in and sit with them and read books to the dogs.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and actually, you were asking about local authors. Patty Kerr.
I know Patty.
Everybody knows Patty. She had written a book about her experiences with her mother and
Right.
Alzheimer's.
And Alzheimer's, right.
And she became an Alzheimer's educator. And now she's turned her interest to dogs. And she's going to be doing a book launch of her dog book at the library on March 5th. And part of the proceeds are going to a family who needs a service dog for their child. So it's a really nice, it kind of all comes back around.
Well, and, I don't want to sound patronizing, but part of the reason there's a lot going on is you guys obviously care more than it's just a 9
We're
to 5
lucky
job.
to have the original child librarian in the Hunterdon County Library. How lucky are we?
And
Does he razz you all the time,
He
or
does.
just,
You know what?
just
When-
for the show?
Jim used to be up in a back office.
Yeah.
And we'd try to remember, oh yeah, Jim's here someplace. And then during renovations, I parked myself at a desk outside his office. And the rest is pretty much history.
Now I have to actually do work.
We
Now there's a spotlight on you.
yeah,
What do
I
you-
said, hey, I want to do a newsletter. Let's do a newsletter.
Well, but I think that the residents of the county don't realize the initiatives that you take. I mean, I'm sure a lot of libraries you're just along for the ride, do your 8 and skate kind of a thing. I mean, that's not uncommon in most businesses, but clearly you guys have taken some. I mean, I think the whole ticket thing is just remarkable that you would, even think about something like that, because there's a lot of families that don't have the discretionary income.
Right.
I mean, how many families can afford to take 3 or 4 children, even teenagers, into the Guggenheim? So if you can get in there now, take the train and get in there, I mean, that's a remarkable experience for somebody. Everybody should do that. Or to the Intrepid to find out a
Right.
little bit about history. That is a very unique museum, and
It is.
that's very cool that you would do that, and that outreach, or grounds for art. I mean, I drive around the loop down there and see just a couple of the pieces, but I've talked to people who've been down there. And it's really
If
pretty
you've never
neat.
been, you have to
No,
go. Oh, you have to go.
I don't get out very often.
Well, come check out the pass
Obviously.
and go. It's really
Yeah, you know what? How can you lose? I mean, that's just very cool.
It is.
And now, do you do movie nights? Going back to the whole movie thing.
We
do. We're currently the largest movie theater in Hunterdon County. We
Not
show
hard to
movies.
do. That's like saying we're going to have the
We
worst
have
storm.
the-
We are getting ready to have the
Yes.
worst storm of the season here.
Exactly. So yes, we try to show movies generally, probably not quite once a week, but we get the ones that come right on DVD. Show them
And
we'll get
what
80,
kind of,
90 people a show.
And what kind of topics? I mean, are they first run movies? Or are they
Yeah, first run movies, whatever just was in the theaters that just came on DVD, we'll show them.
And then
Wow.
a lot of times we'll find a documentary that sounds interesting.
Well, that's my background in career.
Yeah.
So I watch more documentaries than anybody I
We
know.
just did one about wheelchair-bound ballroom dancers,
Wow.
and the
Oh, we do a lot of them. Yes,
Yeah,
we
the
did the
producer was from-
Gasland movie. That was the first,
fracking.
the fracking movie that's on
Yeah.
HBO.
Yeah, yeah.
That was shown at the library first.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
we've had Jared Fletcher, the local. He does a lot of he did one on
Ecological,
Sarah.
right.
Yeah.
Let me have you guys tell us. The website is HunterdonCountyLibrary.gov, right? HCLibrary.us. Oh, geez. See, there you go.
Yeah,
Just go Google it. Go Google it.
Yeah, just Google Hunterdon County Library.
Secondly, the hours of the main branch?
We are open Monday and Friday and Saturday 9 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 9 to 9, and Sundays 1 to 5.
And just show up on Route 12 in the county complex. Come up, say hello, introduce yourself.
Ask
and
for
you-
Jennifer. She'll
ask for
give you a
Jennifer.
tour.
I will.
Hey, give you a tour, get you set up with a library card, or you can purchase access if you're out of the county, because we have, listeners and viewers all over this big blue planet.
We do.
So, thank you very much for coming.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
we
for
had some
having us.
technical issues early on, but it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot, and I'm going to be up there, so I appreciate it. We'll have you back again soon, because there's a lot to hear of, and we want to keep up to date, promoting the events, the concerts, the movies, and so on. I mean, you guys are doing a lot of stuff, and that's really cool, especially in the wintertime. No better way to hop up there and avail yourself of something that you couldn't
and
get.
We mentioned the storm real quick. If your power's out, we got extra power strips, and we'll set them up, and you come charge your phone.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
They're after Superstorm Sandy. Once we got our generator up and going, the library
And the
was
heat's
filled.
on.
The
There's
heat's on, right?
something to do. Keep yourself occupied. Bring the kids up. Get them a kids book. And I know you got a nice little snack area there and everything, so it's very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you both
Thank
very
you,
much.
Bruce.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Bruce.
one, and we look
You
forward
too.
to having you on again. Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Thanks.
For Jersey Talk Radio, it's Bruce Pearson filling in for Rich Gersner. We'll see you next time.